Hi, welcome and thank you for viewing our elk plan scoping meeting. My name is Brett Dorak. I'm the wildlife manager for Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks in Region 7 based out of Miles City. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss local management within Region 7. Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks is in the process of revising the statewide elk management plan last adopted in 2005. At this step in the revision, we are seeking your input on the existing elk population objectives and local elk management challenges that should be considered in our update. We are here to provide information about local elk management. If you want to provide input, we will collect any feedback that you provide. The public feedback that we gather as part of this process will be considered as we develop proposals for the draft elk management plan. Once the draft elk management plan has been developed and released, there will be additional public comment opportunities. FWP intends to propose a draft elk management plan to the Fish and Wildlife Commission for adoption prior to the 2023 biennial season setting process. The Fish and Wildlife Commission will consider public comment before deciding on adopting a final elk management plan. Public scoping period runs from June 20th to October 15th. Comments can be submitted online at fwp.mt.gov, emailed to fwpwld@mt.gov, or mailed to the Helena FWP office. Now I'll go through every hunting district within Region 7, Hunting District 700, 701, 702, 703, 704, and 705, and their associated aerial survey data and hunter harvest data where applicable. As a whole, current population objectives are expressed as a desired number of elk and typically include a range around that value plus or minus 20%. The range accounts for anticipated variability in elk counts among years. In these hunting districts, should FWP maintain the current form of objective, a point value with fixed range, or should we consider alternative population objective forms, like using a long-term average plus or minus 20%, or some other approach to establish a population objective? Elk populations are classified into objective status using annual or biennial survey data. Because there is often variation among surveys, would it be more appropriate to use individual surveys or a 3-year average of surveys to determine objective status for these hunting districts, or would you recommend some other approach? As we start here for Region 7, we'll start with Hunting District 700. As you will see, it is located in our northwestern portion of the region along the Charles M. Russell and the Fort Peck Reservoir. This is our current mapped elk distribution within that, primarily on the north and western side. We're looking for your feedback. Are you satisfied with the current elk distribution within this hunting district? If not, would you suggest any specific objectives to address this distribution? Here, Hunting District is part of the Missouri River Breaks Elk Management Unit, and it has a population objective to maintain 200 to 300 elk observed during postseason aerial surveys. The lower objective line of 200 is represented in the orange line on the bottom, and the upper objective of 300 is represented in the gray line. You can see from survey data going from 2008 to 2022, at all times we have been above those objectives. From 2008 to 2012, we saw a steady increase in elk observed during postseason aerial surveys as we fine-tuned our survey route and how we operated our elk surveys. And from 2012 to 2022, for the most part, we've been very consistent with the number of elk that we've observed during those years, ranging from 1,200 to 1,400. We do see a slight dip in 2018 in response to the lodgepole fire complex, where elk distribution shifted around a fair bit. So we're looking for your feedback. Should the objective range remain the same? Should it be higher? And if so, by how much? Or should it be lower? And if so, by how much? Also, in our current elk management plan, Hunting District 700 has a bull objective that states to maintain at least 30 bulls per 100 cows observed during postseason aerial survey flights. The bull objective is represented there on the orange line. And you can see from 2008 to 2018, we were higher than 30 bulls per 100 cows. And since the objective said to maintain at least, that meant that we were meeting that objective. But you can see during our 2020 and our 2022 postseason aerial survey data, our bull objective per 100 cows was below the 30 bulls per 100 cows. So we're looking for your feedback. Should there be a bull objective within this hunting district? If so, are the current bull objectives appropriate? If not, what should it be? Also for hunting district 700, providing you with the estimated harvest that is gathered after postseason hunter harvest phone calls are sent out or are called out. The blue line represents estimated bull harvest for hunting district 700. The orange line represents antlerless harvest, and then the gray line represents the total harvest. As you can see, from 2008 to 2021, we've seen a slight increase in total harvest over the years, and also correlates with bull and antlerless harvest. One final question that we're looking to receive input on for hunting district 700 is, what else should the elk management plan include for this hunting district? Moving on to hunting district 701, which is kind of in our west central portion of region 7. Our mapped elk distribution there for hunting district 701 is primarily just along the west side, although we do know that we do have other elk, transient elk, smaller populations scattered throughout the hunting district, just like every other hunting district. So there are elk that reside outside of our current mapped elk distribution. This is just more or less representing our core elk distribution within this hunting district and the other ones. So looking again for your feedback, are you satisfied with the current elk distribution within this hunting district? If not, would you suggest any specific objectives to address this distribution? For hunting district 701, it is currently part of the Missouri River Breaks Elk Management Unit, but there is currently no population objective for this hunting district. Is this acceptable? If not, what do you think it should be? In hunting district 701, there is also no bull objective. Is this appropriate for this hunting district? If you would like to have a bull objective, what do you think it should be? And also, what else does the elk management plan need to include for this hunting district? Since we have no objective, there are also no formal postseason aerial surveys or any elk surveys conducted within this hunting district. So for hunting district 701, we are presenting you with the estimated elk harvest for this hunting district via our postseason phone call surveys. Once again, blue line represents the estimated bull harvest for hunting district 701. Orange line represents antlerless harvest, and then that gray line is total harvest for hunting district 701 from 2008 to 2021. Similar to hunting district 700, you can see a slight upward trend in harvest over the years from 2008 to 2021. Moving on to hunting district 702, that is kind of our southwestern portion of the hunting district, north of the Crow and Northern Cheyenne Indian reservations. Here you can see our mapped core elk distribution within hunting district 702, kind of goes at a diagonal from the northwest portion of the hunting district to the southeast portion. Are you satisfied with the current elk distribution within this hunting district? If not, would you suggest any specific objectives to address the distribution? Hunting district 702 is part of the Custer Forest Elk Management Unit that also includes hunting district 704 and 705 that we'll talk about later. And as a whole, for the entire elk management unit, it is stated in the current elk management plan to maintain an estimated postseason elk number at 500. So as you can see from our postseason aerial survey counts for hunting district 702 from 2013 to 2019, that the amount of elk observed during our survey flights has usually been pretty consistent, just below 1,000 elk. Here recently in 2021, we did see a large increase to approximately 1,800 elk. Kind of an anomaly. Many factors would go into that change. We don't think it was the sheer increase through reproduction for elk within this hunting district, but maybe some distribution and movement in response to some wildland fires and winter weather and some early spring green up that may have pulled elk from other areas into hunting district 702. But as you can see from our postseason aerial survey counts, hunting district 702 alone has been above the current 500 elk objective for the entire Custer Forest Elk Management Unit that comprises 3 hunting districts. So one of the additional questions we're asking here is, should there be sub-objectives for hunting district 702, 704, and 705? If so, what should they be? Also asking, once again, should there just be the objective range? Should it remain the same? Should it be higher? If so, by how much? Should it be lower? And if so, by how much? For hunting district 702, as part of the Custer Forest EMU, it is written in the current elk management plan to maintain an observed postseason bull to 100 cow ratio of 30 to 40 bulls per 100 cows. Looking at the aerial survey data that we have for hunting district 702 that started in 2013 and goes to 2021, We see that for most years, looking at the orange line, which represents the lower part of the bull objective at 30 bulls per 100 cows, and the gray line that represents 40 bulls per 100 cows, that we are actually outside of this range and higher than the current bull to cow ratio stated in the current plan. It wasn't until 2021 that we actually fell within those sideboards and would be meeting that objective. So we're looking for your feedback. Should there be a bull objective within this hunting district? If so, are the current bull objectives appropriate? If not, what should they be? Once again, here is the estimated harvest for elk within Hunting District 702 from 2014 to 2021. You can see a slight increase over those years. Once again, for the harvest, blue lines representing bull harvest, orange lines representing antlerless harvest, and then that gray line representing the total harvest. And finally, what else does the elk management plan need to include for this hunting district? Moving on to Hunting District 703, which is in our eastern portion along the North Dakota border of Region 7. Showing the core elk distribution that is known for the area, you will see that there is nothing highlighted here within Hunting District 703, although we do know that elk reside within this hunting district and that there are a fair amount of transient individuals that move through the hunting district throughout the year. Are you satisfied with the current elk distribution within this hunting district? If not, would you suggest any specific objectives to address this distribution? Similar to Hunting District 701, Hunting District 703, there has no population objective. Is this acceptable? If not, what should it be? In Hunting District 703, there is also no bull objective. Is this appropriate in this hunting district? If you would like to have a bull objective, what do you feel it should be? And also, what else does the elk management plan need to include for this hunting district? Although we do not have any post-season aerial survey data, since there is no objective within Hunting District 703, we do have the estimated elk harvest via our phone call surveys at the end of the year. Once again, blue line represents bull harvest, orange line represents antlerless harvest, and the gray line represents total harvest. There seems to be a little bit more variation in estimated harvest over the years, not having really a core elk population mapped, and a lot of transients and a lot of weather and just factors that impact harvest across this hunting district. But we do see a general increase in overall harvest throughout the years. Moving on to Hunting District 704, which is in kind of our southern central portion of Region 7. Our current mapped elk distribution for Hunting District 704, primarily in the southern portion of this hunting district. Are you satisfied with the current elk distribution within this hunting district? If not, would you suggest any specific objectives to address the distribution? Hunting District 704, once again, is part of the Custer Forest Elk Management Unit, along with 702 and 705, and it is stated for all three of those combined to maintain an estimated postseason elk numbers at 500 elk. So as you can see from postseason aerial survey data that we have in 704, very short-term data set, just starting off here in 2016 and going to 2020. In 2016, we observed approximately 800 individuals. We saw a pretty good increase in 2018 to just over 950, and then another little decrease in 2020 near about 850 individuals. So looking again, should there be sub-objectives for Hunting District 702, 704, and 705? If so, what do you feel they should be? Or should the objective range remain the same, or be higher as it is, and by how much, or lower, and by how much? Hunting District 704 still has the bull to cow ratio as part of the Custer Forest Elk Management Unit to maintain an observed postseason bull to 100 cow ratio of 30 to 40 bulls per 100 cows. As you can see from the data from 2016 to 2018, 2016 we were slightly above that upper objective of 40 bulls per 100 cows. 2018 we were right there on the line for the upper objective of 40 bulls per 100 cows. And then in 2020 we saw an increase in our ratio north of 60 bulls per 100 cows. So should there be a bull objective in this hunting district? If so, are the current bull objectives appropriate? If not, what should they be? Here is the plot representing the postseason estimated harvest of elk. Once again, blue line represents bull harvest within hunting district 704. The orange line is antlerless harvest, and then the gray line is the total harvest. Looking at 2008 to 2021, similar to other hunting districts we've discussed so far, you see an increasing trend in harvest across those years. So for hunting district 704, what else does the elk management plan need to include? Moving on to our final hunting district for Region 7, hunting district 705 in our southeastern corner of Region 7. Our current mapped elk distribution within hunting district 705, primarily in our central to eastern portion of hunting district 705. Are you satisfied with the current elk distribution within this hunting district? If not, would you suggest any specific objectives to address the distribution? This is the final hunting district, part of the Custer Forest Elk Management Unit. And as I stated before, for all three, the current elk plan states to maintain estimated postseason elk numbers at 500 elk. We have survey data for hunting district 705 starting in 2014 going to 2020. We see an increasing trend in elk observed within this hunting district, starting at a little over 100 in 2014 and increasing to approximately 350 individuals in 2020. Should there be sub-objectives for hunting district 702, 704, and 705? If so, what do you feel they should be? Should the objective range remain the same? Or overall, should it be higher and by how much, or lower and by how much? Hunting district 705, like other hunting districts within the Custer Forest Elk Management Unit, is set to maintain an observed postseason bull to 100 cow ratio of 30 to 40 bulls. We see in 2014 and 2016, we were lower than the lower objective within that range of 30 bulls per 100 cows. Then in 2018 and 2020, we were right in between that 30 to 40 bull per 100 cows, meeting that objective within our current elk management plan. So should there be a bull objective within hunting district 705? If so, are the current bull objectives appropriate? If not, what should they be? Here is the plot for the estimated elk harvest from 2008 to 2021. Blue line represents the bull harvest. Orange line represents antlerless harvest. And then the gray line on top represents the total harvest. Similar to the other hunting districts, as we see an increase in elk, we also see an increase in elk harvest over time. So finally, for hunting district 705, what else does the elk management plan need to include for this hunting district? As I stated earlier in the introduction, we want to hear from you. You can comment online at the link provided there. You can mail hard copies to the Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks Helena office at the address provided, or you can email comments to fwpwld@mt.gov. Thank you very much, and we look forward to hearing your comments and working with you through this process of redrafting and revising the elk management plan.